歡迎大家嚟到發達星期四啊 ！Please welcome Brad and Matt from the one and only Suede.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so lovely to be here. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
Is this your first time to do a video interview in China?
I think so.
I think
yeah.
So, yeah. Wow. We've been here many times,
yeah.
but just to do shows really.
Yeah, I mean we haven't really done much sort of media stuff in China before, to be honest.
We did say we weren't going to do any interviews unless the host had a really good hat.
Yeah.
So it's been tricky up until now.
In the same kind of shirt with you, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We've been holding out for 20 years for the right interviewer,
For the right hat.
and you're the guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've finally given in.
It's been 7 years that we didn't have any rock and roll star in this city. So yeah, last time is 2017. It was Liam Gallagher the last time. So it's been 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got one of my favorite band on the planet last night.
Oh, cool. No, I really loved it. The show last night was fantastic. Loved it. Yeah. The Chinese audiences, they just seem to be getting better and better. It's amazing. We played Shenzhen last night, and we played Shanghai a couple of months ago. Absolutely amazing. Just so good. Every time we come here, it just gets better and better. It feels like it's kind of going up and up. It's fantastic.
Can you feel any difference between this city in China?
We've been
and
Chengdu.
Can you feel any
We've
difference in this city?
Guangzhou.
It's more of a difference between kind of the festivals and our own shows, because with the festivals people can kind of like stand up and stuff. So they're slowly.
So I had to sit down last night.
Yeah, so that's the big difference. But
the audience still against thing last night.
The audience were brilliant last night. They really were. Yeah,
they're brave.
But you know, it's kind of like it's not just the dancing and stuff. It's the singing along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were in good voice last night, weren't they? I have to
They
say.
were great.
Yeah.
My voice is always cracked last night.
Yeah. Well,
was that
you?
Must be me.
Like there was one guy in the audience who was slightly out of tune.
She's still That's me.
Yeah, we heard you.
That was you, was it?
Thanks, Sonny. You let the whole city of Shenzhen.
I like the way they get involved. They sing along, they clap along, and it's so important as a performer to feel like the audience are kind of participating in the event. You know, live gigs it's not like going to the cinema or something like that. The audience reaction really affects how the band plays, I think, and it's always exciting when the audience sings along with the songs and makes it an event and makes it exciting and makes it lovely. You know,
you feel the band's connection.
Yeah, definitely, especially some of the ballads last night, and Life Is Golden was really beautiful, and when everyone kind of got lighters out and stuff. Saturday night was nice, yeah, and Everything Will Flow was really nice. I love the Chinese audience to sing along. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. After reunion, maybe 14 years.
Yeah.
14 years.
Is that long?
Yeah, 2010. You're right. Yeah, 14 years. Yeah.
How can you keep this passion or vitality during all this tour? Because the tour is so much in this 14 years.
I don't know. You just have to. There's no. I can't do this sort of like on kind of sort of half. I can't do it in a half-hearted way. I have to do it personally. I have to sort of do it, approach it really passionately, because that's the sort of nature of the band. That's the nature of what the band's about. It's about intensity. It's about passion. It's about excitement. It's about energy. All these sorts of things. And if those things aren't there, then the band isn't really fully present. And I could never do it, this whole thing, and not do it 100%. It has to be. You have to be fully committed, I think. And I still love this band, and I still love performing with this band, and I still love writing with this band as well. And that's one of the most exciting things that we do is making new music. I'm so excited about the new Suede album, which we're working on at the moment. So, you know, I thought Autofiction was a fine record. I think it's one of our best records, which I think is an amazing achievement. And I think that the next one should be pretty good as well.
Can we talk about the reunion shows in Royal Albert Hall? I love that show so much. That was my first time to saw your shows on the internet.
Oh, really?
I was in middle school. I was crying that after you guys playing Metal Mickey, you said that we're not finished yet.
Yeah.
That's a moving moment.
Proved to be, that was an amazing moment actually. The standing ovation there, and I think in a way that was because before we did that gig, we didn't know where the reunion was going to go, and we didn't know that we'd be sitting here 14 years later, having made 4 new albums. We could have easily sort of split up again, I think. And I think the Metal Mickey moment at the Royal Albert Hall was a really key turning point where we sort of suddenly decided, okay, this is pretty good, so let's carry on doing this, you know.
I think one of the things with Britain is the music scene, it's really fast moving and it's really about fashions and stuff. So when we split up, it was almost like we just disappeared from... No, seriously, it's a really strange thing. Right? Yeah, you didn't hear us on the radio or anything like that. And it took that show for us to realise that there were people that loved the band. You know, there were lots of people who loved the band. And then...
They're all still loving you.
Yeah, but that's what drives us. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's what Brett was talking about with the live shows, and it's also the same with the records. You're constantly trying to move people. That's what you're trying to do with music. And when people tell you, you know, that it's working, that they're being moved by it, it kind of pushes you on.
We mentioned that moment, I almost cried. The Metal Mickey moment is so important for me.
Yeah, no, it's very moving, actually. Yeah.
I mean, the human element in rock and roll music at that time. So.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, though. It's about, you know, it's about humanity. That's why rock and roll music is so powerful, because it's sort of about those intense emotions. If you do it right, it captures kind of energy, excitement, anger, all of those things, love, passion, all of those sorts of things. Yeah, you know, it's a kind of cliche, and it's the sort of things that, you know, they've been talked about a million times, and there's a million great songs that cover these things, but they're always so powerful and so beautiful. And it's these human emotions, just because they've been felt before, doesn't make them you know, any kind of weaker. It feels like you're falling in love for you know, you're the first person to ever fall in love. Do you know what I mean? And you're clearly not. Otherwise, the human race wouldn't exist.
Well proved.
Autofiction was one of my favorite albums in 2022.
Thank you.
Yeah. After the Blue Hour, some artistic attempt, right? You guys make a simplified but aggressive album this time. It's almost like your Suede style punk rock album, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Why did you do that?
One of the reasons it's very successful artistically is because it just sort of, it expresses the essence of what the band is, yeah? And we can kind of like stretch ourselves out and make arty records and make strange things and odd symphonic records and spoken word things and stuff like that, but it snaps back to the core and the essence of the band, and the core and the essence of the band is a sort of dirty little rock and roll band. That's the way we started playing the pubs in London in the early 1990s. That's the crucible where we were formed, and that's always the point to which we return, I think.
It's almost like every now and then we say, right, we're going to start again. You know what I mean? You know, we're
just like the debut album.
Yeah, but like the debut album, but like Coming Up, which was like a debut album as well. Just every now and then we're like, right, let's go back to start from scratch and capture that, just the kind of joy of it, of 5 people playing in a room.
Yeah, just like another debut album in your 50s.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. We're going to keep on making debut albums until we're 90.
Yeah, but if you can keep that energy, it does feel like a debut every time. It does feel like that. It does feel exciting every time. You know, that's what you've got to retain. Otherwise, you know, like I said before about people just going through the motions. I don't want to ever feel like that. It's got to always feel exciting. You know, you've always got to be pushing it slightly and challenging yourself. You know.
So, what would be your favorite tracks in this album, in Autofiction?
Oh, well, I love She Still Leads Me On. That's
me too.
It's probably my favourite song. It's a very sort of personal song, but I think it's very powerful. The kind of the sentiment, the idea that it's about my mother, really, who died many years ago. But it's a sort of song about loss, but sort of saying that even though the person's not there, is dead, they're still kind of guiding you somehow. They're still present in your life. And I think that's quite a powerful sentiment. I think anyone that's lost a parent kind of understands that. I don't know, I think there's lots of good songs on the record. I love The Only Way I Can Love You, that's a good song as well.
And I love Personality Disorder.
Yeah, I like that as well. That's a good live song. Yeah, Matt, what about you?
Matt?
I really like Shadow Self, actually.
It's that guy's connected to Shadow Self. That's fucking cool.
And it's weird. There's just something about, I love playing it live. It's quite an odd song for us, and it's quite kind of internal and quite kind of tight and gnarly. But it's always the one that I absolutely lose myself in it when we're playing it.
Yeah.
Every now and then you can be thinking about something else when you're playing a song, but not with Shadow Self. It's like you have to be at like 100% in it, or it kind of
focus on the
apart.
pattern.
Well,
for
you
the
do, because the
bass
bass line's so
yeah,
Exactly,
the
yeah,
bass
yeah,
line's
yeah.
so cool.
I can just sort of like dance around from this
Yeah,
song. It's
you
great.
just get to yelp a little
great.
bit.
Yeah, exactly. Matt's like got to be really on it. You know?
Right?
Yeah,
I love it though. I do love it.
yeah.
After your reunion, the blood spot, the sleeve is still high saturations like coming up, like the Peter style.
Yeah.
Yeah, but after the Blue Hour, after the Night Thought, you get back to the mattress.
Yeah,
and
the
Naked
mattress.
Man. But this time the Naked Man was you.
It was me, yeah.
Because we're
Yeah.
too cheap to hire models nowadays.
Exactly. I didn't charge very much.
All right.
Yeah, no, it's just a theme that we have in our sleeves. There's something cool about the mattress. It was in Dogman Star, wasn't it? And it was in Coming Up, and it's actually in
Some
Blood
surreal,
Sports, and it's in Autofiction as well. So, yeah, it's just a sort of theme, you know. It's the bed, you know, the symbolism of the bed, you know.
Yeah, and it feels a little bit lonely, like Dogman Star's mattress, but. This time, I think maybe just because of the black and white.
Yeah.
So it's aggressive on the cover, and you write all the set lists on the cover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I think that the black and white thing, it really sort of like chimes with the music, because I think of the music as being black and white. I think of it as being sort of colourless in a good way, monochromatic. It's supposed to be. We took out the layering and the colours from the music. And the next record, I'd like to even be sort of more black and white in lots of ways.
All right.
So I think the sleeve will be black and white again, because I think of this music as being black and white. I think this is our black and white kind of period.
So this will be your next agenda, right, on the next album?
Yeah. You've got to have these kind of ways of approaching records, otherwise you need a sort of starting point, you know. And I did think of the music as being black and white, or trying to get the music as black and white. You always deviate a little bit, always kind of goes somewhere else. It always goes somewhere you don't expect, you know.
Because all the audience doesn't expect like a punk rock album like this time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Autofiction, it's simplified, clearer guitar sound, clearer guitar tone. Yeah.
I always kind of like listen to our live sound. I think it sounds so much better than the recorded sound half the time, especially when you compare it to lots of the 90s stuff, which is, I find, slightly overlayered, and it should have just been simple and punky and kind of like direct. And those are the lessons that you kind of like, sometimes it takes you decades to learn. And I think we've learned it now, and we know how our songs come across best. And you know, in those you know, in the sort of like recorded context, sometimes sort of less is more, because it kind of like the kind of essence of the record comes through. You know, we're not making kind of symphonic records with it at the moment. You know.
Can we go back to the Blue Hours?
Yeah, sure.
Fly Tipping is one of my favorite lyrics in that album. Maybe in all the Suede songs.
Yeah.
So what are you writing about on Fly Tipping for you?
Well, it's sort of about two people that just throw away all their possessions and decide to sort of return to nature. It's a kind of like almost like a sort of slightly insane kind of vignette of two people just chucking away everything they own and finding some sort of peace and simplicity in that. And it's probably not very practical, but I kind of quite like the idea. There's this artist called Michael Landy, and he did this brilliant thing where he destroyed everything he owned. He put it through this kind of like industrial kind of press mincer thing, literally everything he owned, including his credit cards and his clothes and everything. And it was sort of inspired by that. And that was an art piece, but yeah, I like the idea of just chucking stuff away and simplifying your life. I think, you know, 21st century life, you kind of clutter your life with rubbish, and you accumulate so much stuff you don't really need. And it's important to remember what is important in life and what really sustains you. And that's pretty much kind of love and relationships and friendships and these sorts of things. They're the really important things. And of course, you know, it's too romantic to think that you can kind of just exist with that alone. But you know, it's a sort of timely reminder that how important those things are, I think.
Because I cried for this song for many times.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a nice song.
Every time I listen to this song and walking along in Hong Kong, I always cry.
So fly tip, I don't know if you know what it's a phrase. It's probably quite an English phrase. Fly tipping is when you basically dump your rubbish by the side of the road. It's kind of illegal. So you often have in the countryside there's signs in little lay-bys. It says no fly tipping because you're not supposed to. But people still do it. They chuck their fridges out.
There's always a fridge underneath that sign, isn't there?
Exactly. Yeah.
So match Hong Kong, match that city.
Yeah. So that happens a lot in the countryside, especially. But yeah.
What kind of new music, new artists are you listening to these days?
I mean, there's been loads. I mean, we've been really lucky in when we've been touring Britain to play with some brilliant bands. There's a band called Sprints from Ireland who are like a little three-piece who are just great, really kind of aggressive, punky thing. Desperate Journalist who supported us as well. They're kind of like, but they're part of a wave, I think, of quite angular British bands at the moment. Even English Teacher, who just won the Mercury Prize. There seems to be a swing back towards these kind of quite dry, quite angular British sounds, and it's great. I'm loving it at the moment.
Yeah, I love it too.
I like Fontaine's DC. I think they make kind of consistently interesting records, and the last two have been excellent.
There's something about him, isn't there?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah.
He's just got one of those voices that whatever he says, you listen to. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's got a got brilliantly sort of just characterful voice. There's a band called New Dad I really like. They made a great debut album. No one really knows who they are, but they're fantastic.
So have you listened to Bernard's new album these days?
I haven't, no. No, is it good?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, okay,
cool.
cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe the next album will be in your 60, I mean.
Nearly, yeah.
Yeah, it's nearly 60.
No.
Don't say that.
I think we're going to squeeze it just under the wire. We're still going to
keep this anger, keep this, I mean, aggressive tone, higher pitch.
Yeah, for the next one, definitely, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think you can kind of do that.
But it will make your voices cracked.
Well,
you didn't mind, right? You don't give a shit about it.
I don't really care. It's sort of doesn't really bother me. I'm not going to kind of. It's not going to always be like that, and it's not going to permanently damage it. And I don't really care that my vocal if my vocal isn't perfect. I don't really care. It's not what I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to get this sort of smooth, perfect, sort of like vocal performance. I'm trying to get something that sort of, you know, has a passion and all of those sorts of things that kind of, you know, you listen to all my favourite singers, they don't have perfect voices. Yeah. You know, like someone like John Lydon or whatever, you know, he's not technically a, you know, he's just a brilliant vocalist. He's not a brilliant singer. There's a difference there. Edith Piaf and people like that, they're kind of just amazing singers because they just sort of, they've just got these brilliantly connecting voices. Someone like Frank Sinatra, you know, he kind of sings a bit flat and that, but it's kind of, it's just an amazing voice, you know.
The unperfect is perfect for Suede.
Yeah, but I think it's generally. So I think this is the thing that people misunderstand when people sort of like want to get into music. They kind of like they aim for perfection. They try and do the kind of like perfect soul voice, and there's millions of people that can sing like that. But so what? You know.
It's your imperfections that are your personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what makes you you. The things that break and the things that you can't do well and all that kind of stuff. It's like when they do that thing, you know, they do the thing where they go, oh, like imagine the perfect rock band, you know, and it would have kind of, you know, Michael Jackson on vocals and John Bonham playing drums and Jimi Hendrix, you know, and it's just, you think about it.
It would be, you're still alive.
But you know it would be awful, you know what I mean? It's the kind of, it's aiming for something great and failing. You always fall into it like an interesting place, I think.
Because in these 2 years, my favorite moment of you singing the She Still Leads Me On will be every time you cracked.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
most charming moments in singing this song.
Yeah, no, totally.
But that's right. I mean, music's, well, our music anyway, it's supposed to be on the edge a little bit. It's supposed to be on the edge of falling apart rather than contained, you know what I mean?
I like that as well, and I'm kind of, I want to bring more imperfections into sort of like my performance in the studio as well, because the studio is a very sort of sterile environment, and you can kind of lose yourself in this sort of like neat little sort of singing and playing nicely sort of world. And I think that I want to bring more of the kind of live, raw feeling into the studio for the next record. Yeah, so.
So the imperfect is the perfect for Suede.
Yeah, it kind of is, you know. We're sort of learning.
We're going to steal that phrase from you.
Thank you.
The imperfect is the perfect. There you go. There's our strapline that we just worked out.
Yeah, that we just invented for the next record. And if you say it again, we're going to sue you.
Yeah. Are you still wearing Agnes B?
Not right now, but I do have a couple of Agnes B shirts. In fact, I've got an Agnes. I still wear an Agnes B shirt that I bought in 1996. What about that? That's how. This is a plug for Agnes B now. But it's obviously very well made. that it's still
in 90s.
Yeah, I've got a 90s Agnes B shirt.
Because you do put your clothes through some kind of like danger.
I do. Yeah, I actually never worn it on stage. I don't think it would survive being on stage.
Right,
but
okay.
Yeah.
Because you're a huge fashion icon in our channel, you know.
Oh, that's kind.
Yeah, every time we recommended the rock and roll style, it will be Brad Anderson.
Well, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think my wife would probably disagree with you there. She's always telling me she's always telling me to tuck my shirt in and stuff like that. So.
Why can't you wear some comfortable shoes?
Yeah.
Ruin your back in those.
No, she's quite good. She actually warns me not to dress too young, so she banned me from wearing leather jackets. Actually, she threw out all my old leather jackets because she said that I looked like, you know, someone trying to be, you know, an old man trying to look like his son sort of thing.
So you just keep wearing the dark navy, white shirt, black shirt. After your reunion,
I kind of like I hid them in the shed, and I wear them when I kind of like, you know, when I go out of the house, I kind of wear them. You know.
Went down to the local second-hand shop and bought them all back.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish our interviewing, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you for having us.
It's been a fantastic interview. I've really enjoyed it. Actually, it's been fun, and it's been kind of, you know, we've done some serious stuff, and we've done some fun stuff. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Such a pleasure.
I mean, you're my hero.
Oh wow!
Hang on, you said I was your hero.
Yes.
I mean, suddenly the camera's on, and it's all about him.
Yeah.
So you can be heroes just for one day.
Can be heroes. We'll both be the heroes. Thank you.
Suede.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you in Cantonese is 多謝.
多謝.
多謝. Yeah, 多謝.
多謝.
Thank you, Suede. Thank you.